Alright, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. We got all kinds of great news stuff for you today. The main story about EOS, interestingly enough. Some interesting Bitcoin graphs and articles. We'll talk about a little bit of economics and some South Korea FUD, and then we're going to look at some prices. And before we get into it, I just want to say that Coca-Cola has not accepted my offer yet. I tweeted them, and one other person tweeted them. So we need about 13,998 more tweets to Coca-Cola so that I can get my partnership, because Coca-Cola, why not? So EOS, a groundbreaking event, the likes of which this industry has yet to see. I don't know about that, about the article name, but let's go into it anyway. So EOS, a cryptocurrency token and blockchain that claims to operate as a smart contract platform for the deployment of decentralized application, or dApps, continues to perform well in the short-term bearish market conditions, and market analysts think this may be just the beginning. And I kind of do agree with that one. I think EOS is going to, should explode sooner or later. So after skyrocketing for weeks and now fifth largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, experienced a much needed pullback yesterday. However, the cryptocurrency once again saw an 11% spike in valuation. More noteworthy, given the general bearish trading patterns taking place this week, as noted by Forbes, or anybody that has eyeballs, was more up than any other cryptocurrency in the top 10. So EOS reached highs of 22.89 on April 29th, which temporarily put it more than 160% year to date. Despite pulling back from its euphoric bull run, the cryptocurrency still maintaining some seriously bullish momentum. The blockchain investor and advisor Oliver Isaacs told Forbes, despite the price slide, EOS remains highly active, and the 24-hour trading volume of the asset looks promising at 1.67 billion. So the dramatic increase in valuation and bullish momentum has been sustained by the impending launch of EOS's Mainnet on June 2nd. So crypto enthusiasts from all over the globe are extremely excited about the launch of the EOS Mainnet. And he continued, this will be a groundbreaking event, the likes of what the industry has yet to see. Alternative investors are snapping up as many coins as they can get their hands on. Is it going to be the likes the industry has yet to see? I don't know about that. Is it going to probably raise the price because of the hype? That's probably. But we'll have to see. If it's going to be something that the industry has yet to see, I'm glad to see something like that. But I'm a bit skeptical. So if Bitcoin is digital gold and Ethereum is digital oil, EOS has been likened to digital real estate. Likewise, Isaac doesn't expect the overall bullish trend for EOS to slow down anytime soon. So I expect the EOS to start a bullish movement right after the launch of the mainnet. The ICO has been running for over a year now and will finally come to conclusion on the day of the launch. The launch will be instrumental to the success of EOS, which is still an Ethereum token. So if EOS pulls off a successful launch of its mainnet and is able to fulfill its promises, it's possible we may see the cryptocurrency pull off a bull run not dissimilar to Ethereum's in 2017. So taking a look at EOS on CoinMarketCap here, has a cap, current circulating supply of 866 million, is $13. Its all-time high, according to CoinMarketCap, was 2146. I think the article stated something slightly different, but either way, pretty good. And we're all the way down at 13 right now, so an increase of $7 or $8 per share would not be too bad at all. So moving on from that, inside the competitive world of over-the-counter Bitcoin trading. So if you work in cryptocurrency and are a member of LinkedIn, you're probably familiar with over-the-counter Bitcoin brokers. They'll message you out of the blue asking if you know any private sellers and will offer to set up a deal for your mutual benefit. The majority of these men, for they are always men, are genuine in their intentions. This does not disguise the fact, though, that BTC brokers are little more than sharks circling the same prey. So brokers outnumber buyers and sellers 100 to 1. Anyone can become a Bitcoin broker. Change your LinkedIn profile to over-the-counter Bitcoin broker, and you've done it. Brokerage is a job like that, and like most cryptocurrency rules outside of development, requires no formal qualifications, just as anyone can call themselves an ICO advisor. Anyone can assume the mantle of Bitcoin broker. consigning them to start spamming LinkedIn users for buyers and highly coveted sellers. To understand the viral spread of brokers, it's necessary to understand the conditions that led to large over-the-counter sellers coming back. Back in the day, it was possible to acquire a lot of Bitcoin for very little money. A lot of people mined it. Some people made it from trading altcoins. And a few simply bought a bunch of BTC and then had the presence of mind to hodl through thick and thin for years. So this is kind of an interesting little Bitcoin graph here. This shows the total Bitcoin distribution in terms of how much people hold. So people that hold 0.001 is in a lot of addresses. So what is that, like 1 billion, 82 million, or 110 billion, 824, I don't even know. I can't read right now. I have glasses that I normally wear. And you can see that by holding more and more Bitcoin, you kind of put yourself into a much lower bracket. So 10,824,275. I know I can count. I promise I can count, but I usually wear glasses. But when I wear glasses, the lighting behind me and my monitor just makes it like this gigantic glare eyes, like I'm an anime character. You know, like those cool glasses-wearing anime characters where you can never see their face. That's I'm assuming they're cool. I don't really know. But that's basically the gist of it. So, you know, if you hold 100,000 Bitcoin to 1 million, you're only one of 3 people, so get right on that. So most brokers will take on anything from 500 Bitcoin upwards as an over-the-counter deal, often operating on behalf of family funds seeking to acquire Bitcoin in bulk. But what brokers are really chasing is the big one, deals of 10,000 or more, in which a brokerage commission of 3% is worth billions of dollars. The number of Bitcoin addresses containing between 10,000 and 100,000 sits at little more than 100. However, while some sellers have their coins distributed across multiple wallets, bona fide whales looking to sell are rare because the rewards for finding one are so great. A swarm of brokers, each chasing the big one, has proliferated. So how an over-the-counter deal works? So sellers went to sell over-the-counter to avoid the sort of slippage that occurs when unloading large amounts of Bitcoin on an exchange, which is basically when you use a market buy, you're going to end up selling for a lot less than what is currently specified by the market, depending on how much you have. So whales also value their privacy, and while they are still required to undergo KYC to complete an over-the-counter deal, their identity is only going to be shared with the broker, their attorney, and the escrow service. Normally, even the buyer won't know the identity of the person they are buying coins from. The seller provides proof of Satoshi by moving a fraction of a Bitcoin from the wallet they control. The buyer provides proof of funds in the form of bank certification or of deposit or credit, and a non-disclosure agreement, and a letter of intent are signed. So a bunch of jargon. So attorney for the buyer prepares the letter of intent. Proof of funds is provided with a specific time frame, master fee protection agreement. Money is placed in escrow, and transfer may be done in full or in tranches, depending on the agreement. So selling over the counter is kind of when you're trying to sell 10,000 thousands of Bitcoin at once. You can take a look at an exchange, and you'll see that not many Bitcoin are being sold back and forth at a time. I mean, maybe at most you kind of see like 30, 40, you know, depending on like what the price is in the order book. And that's not necessarily just one person or multiple people. So imagine if you try to sell 1,000 Bitcoin when there isn't that much, many buyers, and you can see that in the order book. So if you pull up GDAX or something like that, you see the order book there on the left, and you put 1,000 in there, and then you hit, or rather, you have 1,000, and then you hit market buy. The order book is usually for the limit orders, and then you hit market. So you're going to sell it at that price for as many people, and let's say there's only 30 people selling it at the current price, or willing to buy at the current price, rather. So you'll sell 30 of them at the current price, but then you need to go down, and you need to keep going down, whether that be pennies or dollars or hundreds of dollars all the way down. You have to sell all of that 1,000 Bitcoin at once, and you're going to sell it to everybody. So you might end up selling to over half the people several hundred or more dollars per Bitcoin less than you would have if you just made a limit order. But the problem with a limit order is going to create a big wall, and it's going to have to eat that wall for a while before you actually sell your coin. A lot of people just don't want to do that. So they end up selling it over the counter and just trade money. They get the Bitcoin, and then they sell that Bitcoin later. So yeah, So Warren Buffett was warned by billboards Coinbase tempted by banking. So Warren, maybe you're wrong about Bitcoin. So I don't really talk about this article too much here because it's basically just trolly, and that's okay with me. But it's not that particularly important when it comes to the news. So, but billionaire investor Warren Buffett, known for his negative attitude toward cryptocurrencies, has been targeted in a Bitcoin advocacy campaign led by one of the largest cloud mining companies, Genesis Mining. Has recently posted billboards in front of Buffett's office, reminding him that he was wrong about Google and Amazon, and telling him that he may very well be wrong about Bitcoin as well. So you can't see them too well here. Unfortunately, I don't think they linked the tweet. Let's see. Yeah, I think they do. Great. So you were wrong about Google and Amazon. Maybe you're wrong about Bitcoin. Bitcoin awareness. Genesis Mining. What a great campaign, Genesis Mining. It's really. So I'm not a big fan of Genesis Mining and cloud mining in general, because here's the thing: if you put in $100, let's just say you put in $100, you're gonna make profit. You should make profit. By the end of the year, when your contract is just about done, some of them have a sort of a lifetime contract. Some of them don't. Some of them are they can cancel the contract on you at any time. You really have to do your research before you put money into it. But let's say you put in $100, and by the end of the year, you should make, like $130, right? And that doesn't seem like too much, and it's really not. But if you had 1,000, you would have made like $1,300, 10,000, such and such, and it would keep going. So you made some decent money over the course of the year. You have to put into a consideration a lot of things, such as the difficulty of the algorithm that you're mining. Increasing over time will get you less coin. And then there's some positive things to think about. Maybe you put in $100 and you're mining the entire year or for 2 years, and then a year or two later, the price of the coin that you were mining doubles or triples or quadruples, and now everything's worth a lot. And so your $100 could have been a few $100. But the thing is, so it's just not always like that, because there's a lot of fees. Of course, the Genesis Mining has a lot of fees that eat away at your profits. So in general, you would be better off just taking that $100, putting it in Bitcoin, and having it quadruple and be $400, $500, or even more. Whereas if you were just mining the whole time, it might even be a little bit less. So honestly, they're kind of pointless. And here's the question you have to ask yourself: is that if it's so profitable for Genesis Mining to be mining, and selling their hash power to other people, like if mining is so profitable, why do they sell their hash power to other people? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself the question: why wouldn't they just mine themselves and not offer their hash power to anybody if it's so profitable? And the reason is because it's sure mining is profitable. It can be profitable, particularly when you're Genesis Mining. You have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of ASICs and various GPUs to help you mine. Great, but the reason why it's more profitable for them to sell that hash power is because they're putting it at a premium, and then they're also taking fees from you. So you could just be mining on your own and making the same amount of money, or you could just put that money into onto an exchange and then buy that amount of money on the exchange, and then every week or so you could use a DCA investment method and put in $50 or so and have yourself quite a bit of crypto much faster than using Genesis Mining or something like that. So I really don't see the point of them. They're just nonsense. If I believed in them, I would have a Genesis Mining account. I would be cloud mining already, and I would be shilling Genesis Mining links like every other YouTuber. The problem is that I don't believe in them because it doesn't make sense. If it's so profitable, why do they need to sell their hash power? Why don't they just mine on their own with their own rigs and don't even worry about selling the hash power and just sell the crypto that they are mining? So it's a pretty good question. So if you have a Genesis Mining contract, you might want to ask yourself that. Or if you're thinking about getting one, also ask yourself that. Crypto will succeed if we all focus on the real problem it is to solve. Okay, so this article, I read a good portion of this article, and I was like, okay, I definitely got to read this aloud in today's episode. The reason is because it's totally against what I would have thought that this was to solve, the real problem to solve. Here's the real problem to solve in crypto for me. That's the UI. UI. User interface, user experience, or UX, whatever. User experience. The thing is that crypto is incredibly complicated for the majority of people. Now, the people that are watching my channel right now, the people who are watching this episode, it is not complicated to you or me. Probably not. Or maybe it is, and that's why you watch this episode, but that's okay. But this doesn't really teach you anything about crypto. I have other videos for that. But either way, you get what I'm saying. Most of us that are into crypto already know crypto, right? So that makes sense. However, your grandma, your parents, your friends that aren't into it, you have gaming friends that aren't into it, that refuse to get into it, or just don't know that they can get into it. They have like 3 graphics cards in their computer to power their games, yet they're not mining. This, that, or the other thing. Okay, there's a lot of people that are not into it, have no idea what it is, that are still skeptical about it, that don't know how to use wallets, that don't know how to send it, that don't know how to buy it. You can still accidentally send Bitcoin to a Bitcoin Cash. You can still accidentally send Ethereum to the Genesis block or Bitcoin to the Genesis block and just totally lose it. You can send, I'm sending to this address, and I know everybody copies and pastes, but if you mess up just a little bit and you send it to the wrong address, poof, your Bitcoin's gone. It's just gone. Deflated, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things to work on. If you lose your private key, you lose all your money. You can't just call your bank and be like, hey, I lost my debit card, or I forgot my online PIN so that I can access my bank account. Or you can't just call your bank and be like, hey, what's my bank account number because I need to set up direct deposit with my job. So the user experience is not there with crypto. It is getting there, but it's not there just yet. So that's what I thought the real problem would be to solve, because I just think that makes sense. Maybe I'm just naive and weird, and that, the majority of the world isn't into cryptocurrency because it's so easy to use that they don't want to use it, but maybe I'm wrong, So let's read this article and let me further complain. There are many discussions in the crypto ecosystem, including very heated debate absorbing a lot of time and energy of the community. To name a few: big blocks versus small blocks, Bitcoin versus altcoin, store of value versus medium exchange, proof of work, POS, ICOs. ICOs are the future. Decentralized versus centralized, private by default versus private by choice. So, no doubt, every particular issue is important in the context and deserves to be thoroughly discussed. However, once you consider the grand scheme, all these issues are secondary to the main one, which is surprisingly is almost never discussed. What is really important is how the cryptocurrencies can help people earn money to live fulfilling, financially secure life. If someone is broke, if they live from paycheck to paycheck, it does not really matter whether they are broke while using bitcoins, altcoins, or dollars. The crypto system should not be simply a different payment system. It should create a new economic setup which brings freedom and prosperity to every human on our planet. Aw, that's so sweet. This is the goal. All other issues are ancillary. It's just so sweet. It's so naive. It's cute. It's so innocent and naive to the planet Earth that we live on. It's cute. It is. I mean, there is going to be a tear that will develop in my eye of how just precious this is. And so deeply, deeply naive. Crypto should be weaved into our economic lives. I agree with that, though. Changing the patterns of how wealth is created, distributed, exchanged, and consumed, crypto should help people earn decent wages, start their own business, still doesn't receive better education. Oh my God, this is getting confusing. Repay debt and solve other fundamental human problems. The right question is how cryptocurrencies should be designed and what infrastructure should be in place to make this happen. The current situation when crypto is presented to the public as an investment vehicle is dangerous. Crypto does not exist to be bought, hold on, and sold on its own. I believe that, there should be... Okay, I agree with that. It should function as a tool that creates radically new economic opportunities which are not possible under the fiat system. Yeah, sure. The current price level is based on assumption that crypto will eventually perform this useful function, and if it doesn't happen, crypto will fade away by itself. I doubt that. This is what we all need to discuss. What, in your view, is required to make crypto a tool that will leave financial insecurity in history? UX. User experience, period. It has to be the user experience. People have to use it. People use easy things. Even if you're in the gaming industry, like I am, If a game is too hard and not fast-paced enough and requires way too much thinking, people will not play it. That's why the RTS field is dying, like StarCraft 2. That's why games like Wargame Red Dragon or Hunt Showdown are not very successful. The reason why is because it takes way too much thinking, way too much effort to do. Instead, people just want to hop into a game like Fortnite, PUBG, and just get into it. People just want to be able to have a debit card. I went to my job. They electronically gave me money, and I can just swipe this anywhere I go. User interface, period, is the number one. Now, the reason why I say this is painfully naive is particularly this here. If someone is broke and they live from paycheck to paycheck, it does not really matter whether they use that's true. The crypto system should be different than a payment system. It should create a new economic setup which brings freedom and prosperity to every human on our planet. And this is the goal. So the problem is here's the question that I need to ask first before we can move on to this. Is poverty something that can be eliminated? So you have to ask yourself, what is poverty? And poverty is a number of things. It can be both a mindset and a physical thing. You could have millions of dollars and still be depressed and wake up unhappy every day that you don't have billions of dollars to buy your own island and yacht and sail it to every day, okay? You could be that person in the mindset. You could also be the complete opposite and live on a farm, have 5 goats, and be like, this is all I will ever need. I'm good, right? There is actually a very low depression rate in particularly more third world nations, such as, and particularly island nations, like in Indonesia, Micronesia, Polynesia, things like that, where people are very, very much so not depressed. They wake up whenever. They wake up when the sun comes up, and they're like, I have a lot of things to do today, but I don't have to rush to a job. I don't have to do all these things and all these taxes and this, that, and the other thing, the daily first world problem stuff. And that makes people really depressed. The other side of it is the economic factor of it, the physical factor, not the mindset. And what is that? And you can't really describe what that is, what poverty is. And because you could say, well, poverty is anyone that makes less than $10,000 a year. You could also say it could be less than 50,000, less than you could just make up a number. And then I ask myself, is poverty something that can be eliminated? And I don't think so. So everybody that thinks that crypto was going to bring them financial freedom and prosperity to every human on our planet, and that people can earn decent wages, what does that mean? How is crypto going to help you earn more wages unless you just go out and get a crypto job? But that doesn't really, that's not the same thing. Like, how is crypto inherently going to make people earn decent wages? You can earn a decent wage without crypto. I mean, I can go and work at McDonald's and earn a crappy wage, or I could go and get my master's in business and go and work for corporate McDonald's and make a great wage. So what's the difference? There isn't one. Start their own business. How is it going to help you start your own business? I mean, you could accept just crypto, but you're still going to have to pay taxes and things like that. So you might as well go the extra step and just get a Visa swipe card as well. So in terms of eliminating poverty, you would be naive to think that crypto was going to do that. Why do you think that crypto was going to be only for the poor people to rise up, and that we're all going to rise up and the wealthy people are just going to sit there and let that happen, or that they're not going to get into it too? If you're a wealthy person and you have a poor person next to you, they have the same interest in mind. They both want to make more money and have a better life, right? It doesn't matter. So if the poor person figures out crypto, and he's like, I'm making a lot of money mining and trading and using it. The wealthy person could think the exact same thing. He's gonna be like, well, I can mine. I have millions of dollars. Why don't I just get a warehouse and just fill it to the max with GPUs and ASICs and mine as well? I can spend and sell crypto as well. I can trade crypto as well, but I can do it better than you. I can do it better than the poor person. So there's no way around that. There's no way around that the whales, that wealthy people, and I don't mean to say whale in a very negative approach, but wealthy people will be always able to do the same things that poor people can, but way better. It's a matter of economy of scale, and that rich people get richer and poor people get poorer. It's just always the way it's going to be. And here's another way to look at it is that, well, you could evenly distribute wealth like a socialist kind of deal and have a richer overall nation. But is it? Is it, though? So here's the thing, is that let's say you gave everybody in America $100. Everybody had $0. Everybody. And now you gave everybody $100. Everybody in America. So that's all the money that exists, right? So now everybody's even Stevens. Nobody's richer, nobody's poorer. And then your roof is leaking. So you hire roofers. So they come over and they're like, yeah, it'll be $2 to fix your roof. I know that's really cheap. But when everybody only has $100, that's 2% of your entire money. So they go up there, they fix your roof, you give them $2. Now you have $98. You're the poorest person in the world. They are the richest person in the world. Now with their extra $2, they can expand their business and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And what would you know? We're in the same situation again. So poverty is also a measure of how much everybody has. So if everybody has $100, it's not worth anything. It's not really worth that much. Imagine that there's only 5 seashells in the world, right? Each seashell is worth $1 million. They're very expensive. There's only 5 in the world, and these rich collectors have them. Let's say you take one, you smash it on the ground. Now there's only 4 in the world. Only 4 people in the world have them. They're worth way more, right? So now you didn't do anything by that system, by giving everybody that money. So there has to be poor people, and there has to be rich people to give the sense of scale, because rich people are always going to do what they can do to make more money, and the poor people are always going to try to do what they do to make more money. But if you have $20 and a rich person has $20, you have the same thing. Nobody's rich. There's no sense of scale there. So I don't see how this is going to affect the world the way that some people think it. I think they're very delusional that crypto is going to somehow. Crypto has made a few people rich, but somehow the introduction of crypto itself is going to eliminate poverty. Well, how can you eliminate poverty where if you brought up everybody that is in poverty and you gave them all money, they would still be rich, or they would still be poor in relation to rich people? So you can't eliminate poverty. It can never be, because even if everybody in the world had $100 and you have $99, you're in poverty. You're literally the poorest person in the world. So you can see how that works. Is that as long as you have a little bit less money than somebody else, poverty it's an illusion, and everybody has their own ability to make more money. But I don't think crypto itself inherently is going to eliminate poverty, help people earn wages, start their own business, receive better education. What does it have to do? How does crypto have anything to do with education and repay debt? So you need money to get the crypto to pay the debt. So crypto inherently is not going to solve any of these problems. You have to understand that inherently it will not solve any of these problems. If you have $1 million and you bought $1 million in crypto, and then you took that $1 million in crypto and you repaid your debt, and you started your own business, what was the difference between, why did you even use the step to buy the crypto? I do believe that crypto has a lot of uses. Don't get me wrong, I'm extremely bullish on crypto, and I think it's much better at transactions, much better for privacy, much better for the people to control their own money. But there's a long way to go. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and as usual, I will see you guys next time.